show and another great episode, which we guarantee a lot of great topics, great insights, everything space exploration, astrophotography. We're going to cover a lot of great things. And today's guest is Galen Gilmore. Just a few things that I want to mention about him. He is 17 years old and a senior in high school. Have a passion for space and science that he has since he was little, and hopefully we can explore that. He plans to go study in college, aerospace engineering. So one day he can help to impact and change the world, which I saw something on his Instagram that I'd like to discuss also. Currently, he uses, as he said, budget equipment to produce his astrophotography and still learning a lot of things in that process. So, Galen, just want to say thank you and appreciate you for being on the show today.
Thank you for having me on.
That's no problem. Happy to connect. So I think even though you're a young guy by some people's standards, I think you can still bring a lot of value to the table, because in this industry, in this thing, it doesn't matter what age you are. When did you start? But in your case, it's awesome that you started early. And again, the fact that you want to do the aerospace engineering, it's a beautiful thing. So the first question is how have you discovered, the space exploration, astrophotography? Was there a person or an event that influenced you to follow the path?
Well, again, I've been interested in space since I was really little. I grew up watching, space documentaries, and a lot of that had to do with my dad, who, is not as passionate about space as I am, but he got me into it. So, but the thing that really got me into like astrophotography and astronomy, like the first thing was we went to a camping trip in Michigan, and living in a big city, I'd never seen the stars like so numerous and so bright as then. So that my parents were like, "Oh, Galen, get in the bed, go to bed." But I was like, "No, I want to keep looking at the stars," And so that's really what kickstarted it. And then I got into astrophotography because I really enjoyed what other people could do. And I was really surprised that people could produce these, like, they almost look like Hubble images to me, and they were really truly amazing. And so I was like, if other people can do this, why can't I produce things that, like, colorful nebulas and gas swirling galaxies, that are hundreds of thousands of millions of light years away. So yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a great story. And, shout out to your father, which if he's going to be watching this episode, for putting you on this camping trip and, letting you to explore, which actually it's a good fact that you mentioned, that a lot of people who live in a city don't even, like, they never seen the Milky Way before. They just think it's kind of like it doesn't even exist for them. They like look at it on internet, is like, oh my god, like I never seen it, because all the city lights blocks the sky from viewing that. So that's awesome.
Exactly.
Great history. So again, as you mentioned before, while I was reading the bio, that you're still working with the kind of budget equipment. So maybe you can explain what the budget equipment is for you.
So my grandma wanted me to kind of, she sent me a lot of money to, not like a insane amount of money, but quite a bit of money to just kind of like use for like astronomy stuff. And so I had to work with what some people might say is like not optimal equipment, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So I spent about $700 like first for my first astrophotography stuff, and the cheapest stuff that I could find, actually I had to get from England. I live in the United States, so I had to import it from England from First Light Optics, and it was a Skywatcher 130 PDS and a Skywatcher EQ5 mount. And then I was just using my dad's camera, but now I have my own camera. But in total, that was around $600, $700. I can't remember the exact amount, but, most people say, oh, you want to start in astrophotography, at least have a budget of $1,500, or more. It's like, well, yes, if you want to make your life easier, I guess, but it's definitely possible to not spend that amount of money and still produce images. And again, I'm still learning. I haven't extracted all I can out of my current equipment.
Mm,
I can go further. I'm still figuring stuff out. I'm still
yeah.
figuring out the processes and stuff, and I'm really excited to just learn where I can go from here, and
That's
how
awesome.
good
So,
a range is.
on that note, like, what resources do you consume to kind of learn, the tricks and the strategies, on astrophotography? Like, would you recommend any YouTube channels, some courses? Like, who do you follow?
Yeah. When I first started off, I was in a astronomy forum called Stargazers Lounge, and they really helped me to choose my equipment and to choose and to just figure all the basic stuff out first. I've kind of moved away from them for a little while because I've just been figuring stuff out on my own. And but another channel I really look up to, and I'm sure a lot of astrophotographers do, is backyard astronomy or astro backyard. Sorry,
Yeah.
and he's great. He teaches you a lot about this stuff, and so yeah.
Got it. Got it. So, what will be kind of your advice? Sorry, as I mentioned, kind of $700. That was your kind of threshold, and that's where you bought your first equipment, and still figuring things out. So, would you think, is it possible for a beginner who is watching right now and wants to get involved in astrophotography? Is that kind of the limit, like the starting point, or can you like buy a cheaper equipment? Like, what is your take on that?
It just depends on what you want to do. For me, I wanted to get straight into the deep skies of photography. I wanted to be able to use a telescope. I wanted to be able to photograph the Orion Nebula and, further away objects. Maybe, not insanely, but I wanted to be able to produce those Hubble-like images. And but if you don't really mind that, you can image the Andromeda Galaxy or the North American Nebula or all these other really big Milky Way like nebula and stuff like that. And you can do that for, I'm trying to think, maybe like $400. It kind of depends if you already have a camera that becomes cheaper. If you want to buy a camera, it becomes more expensive, but there are some cheap, like just for a camera and a lens, like equatorial mounts that
Mhm.
are that track the night sky and are built for just that purpose and are really portable and stuff. So you can get into it for cheaper. Um, but I'd say, yeah, probably the limit for like actual telescope deep sky astrophotography, it's probably around what I got.
Got it, got it, got it. So that's awesome. That's a good advice. Thanks for sharing. Again, looking at your current profile on Instagram, and again, you can find that on Galen underscore astrophotography, or connect with Galen personally, which is Galen underscore Gilmore. But one thing that I wanted to ask you, like looking at the current photos that you have uploaded, like I'm sure it's almost all of them are yours.
Yep.
Maybe including this massive, is that a massive black hole that you included also?
Yeah, that one is that obviously that image is not me. That's the
Yeah, just to clear that out, because I just came across it, but that's fine. So the rest of the images, I mean, it's pretty, like, it looks intense, it looks great, like, so
Thank
keep
you.
up definitely the great work. And so what would you consider so far, I mean, looking from these photos, or it could be something else, kind of your personal biggest achievement so far?
My personal my biggest achievement, that's a tough one because every single time it's kind of like every single time I post one of these, it's I learn something new. It's kind of a step up for me, and it's hard for me to judge that. Um, but I think some of my favorite, I think probably my favorite one, and probably my most, I like my, I don't know, just my favorite one is the eclipse photo. Um, that one was really intense because obviously I had no idea what I was doing. Before, you can, with deep sky astrophotography, you can just keep going out night after night and learning more and more. But the solar eclipse, that happens one, and if you screwed up, it's done. You can't, you can't fix your mistake. So I heard about a thing that happens called Bailey's beads, which happens basically seconds before totality, and it occurs when the sunlight starts shining through the mountains and the rifts in the moon's surface, and you can see these like beads and these hills. And so if you look at that picture, you should be able to see like these kind of like ridgy areas right on the
Hmm.
edge of the moon and the sun. So I had to time that perfectly. I had like this entire clock set up, and to so that I just took like a bunch of pictures as soon as it was the time. And then I looked at the camera and the photos, and I was like ecstatic. I was jumping up and down, and I was like,
That is awesome, and that's by the way, that's a great photo. I'm not sure if you guys can actually see the photo if I'm going to show it because of the screen behind me, but you should go and find it on Galen underscore astrophotography, because I'm just looking at the photo and it's awesome. It's definitely awesome. So you have to make sure you go and check that out. So the question is for you again. I'm sure you get that question asked from time to time with the people that come across you. Uh, I mean, people are right now freaking out of Venus, phosphine discoveries.
right.
So, like, when it comes to your personal kind of understanding and thinking, would you believe there's another kind of more maybe developed extraterrestrial human being likes out there?
Like in the universe?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
Well, maybe in Earth. I don't know which way.
I see no reason why. Oh, sorry, my cat is scratching at the door. So if you hear that, ignore
That's no
that.
worries.
But I definitely there's definitely like life somewhere out there. It's a big universe, and you know people say, oh, some people say, oh, life on Earth happened just by chance. There was just the exact right set of conditions, and it's like, well, even if that is true, there's so much space in the universe for this to happen. You could simulate millions of different planets and stuff, and then something will come up, something will have the right conditions for life, and something will develop in that way. So, and I think that it didn't exactly even happen just by chance. I think that life may be more prolific than people think. um Considering like the clouds in Venus's atmosphere, like nobody considered that. Nobody considered that before we found, like, it's not confirmed, but there's a might actually be a good chance that there could be life in the clouds of Venus, and nobody expected that. And who's to say that aliens have to be carbon-based life forms? Who's to say that they need water to survive? Who's so there's all these different things, these just unknowns, and the only thing we have to go on is what we have here on Earth, which it's not great having only just one variable point. So you know
Exactly. Great point. I love what you said that, maybe for these, extraterrestrial things, maybe, they just completely different to our, because we, in our thinking, as you said, it takes like, oh, it has to be water. It has to be water on the planet for somebody to, but maybe these like creatures, they just have completely different kind of evolution, and they don't
yeah.
need, no air, like no, no water. So like, who knows? But this is a an exciting part for us to discover, in upcoming years.
Yeah.
So again, talking on those type of questions that people get, that people ask you from time to time, and I'm sure, like as I mentioned, this question comes up, more than often probably. Like, but what is the one thing that people don't ask you, but you're like, oh man, you have to know this one thing, whatever that could be, astrophotography, space exploration.
Hmm. That's a kind of a difficult. That's another difficult question.
I told you
I
it's
guess,
going I told
yeah.
you it's going to be easy questions. Well, it's going to be a few
No,
difficult too.
I guess something you have to. I guess I have to rule out like things that people often ask me, like, yeah, like, do you believe in life? Do you think we'll get to Mars? Do you think we'll,
Hmm. But
all those kind of
what they don't ask
questions.
you, but you're like, man, you have to know about it. But people don't ask these questions. Like, do you have one
I'd
thing that?
say,
Yeah,
ah, I'm sure there's something, but it's kind of difficult for me to
yeah.
think about that. I think the question people should be asking is, if they're interested in this, is, can I get involved in this? You know, people,
Mm.
like, a lot of people are interested in this, and they're like, oh, there's no way I could ever help in this. There's no way I could ever,
So what
actually
are
participate.
so what are the objections that you're getting from people when they say I cannot participate in it? Is it the price? Is it the time? Like, what is the?
I don't think people necessarily say that they can't participate, but they don't even consider that as an option. They just think that
Yeah,
it's like some
true.
magical fairy tale, that these NASA engineers or these people who make these images, they just kind of do it because they've got like some special gift. It's like, no, anybody can learn it.
Hmm.
Anybody can learn it. You don't need to go to to go to college necessarily to do this. I mean, I'm I'm not even in college yet, and I'm still like learning how to do this stuff. So I just say that if you're interested in it and you think that you might actually like have the ability to do it, then you can go do it. You can go and, you know, try out astrophotography. You can go out and learn some engineering, see if it's for you, see if you know, if you want to do something in terms of space. You know, and there's all these things that like research projects that you can do, like NASA like has these programs sometimes where they have you click through thousands of images of like the sky and stuff and see if like different things have changed. Like if there's an asteroid in one place and another place, they you know they can have the general public do that stuff. So even at the most basic level, even if you have like no qualifications whatsoever, you can help out NASA or you know just anything like that. So I'd say, yeah, I mean, even we're a
Yeah.
collective species that you know we got to work together. So
Got it. So again, Galen, I think you're just young and dreaming too much. You know, you like you still think it's possible because you're 17. You don't get it. You know, people who are 30 like me, man, I have the bills, I have the wife, business to take care of. You know, like oh my God, all these things you're talking about, I can do this. Like there's no time, man. There's no time. No, I'm just kidding. Definitely, there is time. That is all of it. I
yeah,
mean, if you have a passion for that, because look, this is coming from Galen. He's 17, and I'm talking. We had people on the show, as you guys who following the show. You know, we have people who are 47 and 50. Like they're still having the same passion. So as I mentioned before, the age is not the point here. It's your passion, is your willingness to kind of explore and add value to the entire picture. As you said, it's a collaborative thing, and I always say exactly the same thing. Everybody have to kind of pitch into this deal, and it doesn't matter how old you are. So that's a great point. I like it. So talking about personal, because again, you mentioned you want to go to college and study the aerospace engineering, which by the way, you can find on his Instagram. It's already written, future SpaceX employee. So can we
yeah.
discover that topic? I mean, like what is the study in aerospace engineering is going to look like, and why do you want to work for SpaceX?
Well, like I haven't always been interested in aerospace engineering. I think for a while I kind of felt like and I'm a big NASA fan, but I kind of felt like NASA really wasn't getting anywhere substantial. But I still loved all the things they were doing. I still loved all the science that they were accomplishing, but it just felt like it was pretty slow going and stuff like that. So I never really got into it. But then when I saw like the when I saw the Falcon boosters land, you know, propulsively land and just upright, and I was like, where have we been?
Yeah,
Where's this been the last, the last 50 years, you know? Um, and so I think that was kind of like a turning point in my mentality. It's like, wait a minute, we can get to place in the solar system. We can start, expanding out and discovering new things at an even more rapid pace. And I saw that just from the get-go, and I've been a fan ever since. Um, that I just feel like they're doing some real innovative stuff. Um, Obviously Elon himself is a controversial figure, but I think that he's not the important part of the equation. I think it's the things that they are doing. You know, I think
collaboration. Yeah, collaborative
people
thing,
get
team.
caught up too
Yeah,
much with like this, the semantics of it, and like, oh, is this like actually like oh, what's this guy like actually like? Would I like him as a person? It's like, maybe not. You can't like everyone,
yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah.
The,
So
Definitely. So working for SpaceX, is that something that you're like, this is going to be it? This is my like target goal, and that's what you're gonna aim for, no matter what? Or
it's
it?
definitely what I'm aiming for, but I'm open. I'm open to all things. And just because I want to go into aerospace engineering doesn't mean that it's like what I ultimately want to do. There's a whole bunch of other stuff. Like
Yeah,
I wanted to do professional astronomy, but then I saw the aerospace engineering part. I'm like, that looks really cool. But I could go into college and I could be like, actually, I want to go into climate science and help solve climate change. It could be like, there's a whole lot of stuff. But I think right now, SpaceX is kind of where I'm aiming for, but there's also a lot of other
Yeah.
rocket companies that are
Oh,
startups.
SpaceX, yeah. Because again, coming back to the Elon Musk, he just makes all this, rocket, launching, make it look sexy. Everybody look
Yeah,
at it like Tesla and SpaceX, and there's like what's it called, Gigafactory, with the batteries and Solar City. So everybody look at it like, oh my God, Elon Musk, he's the
yeah,
genius, which he is a genius, and that's why a lot of people get attracted to him, because people see him on social media, see how like charismatic, genius like he is, and people always get attracted to greatness, and of course he's
right.
one of the great people.
I
So
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say that.
sure.
Yeah, like he I think one of the big things that he's doing is as you said, he's making all this new technology look sexy. So it's like, it's inspiring a new generation. I mean, he's inspired me. I would never have started really getting into space exploration and aerospace engineering and stuff like that if it weren't for that. And I think a lot of people are like that. A lot of people became really inspired by seeing that Tesla float around in space. So I think that part of it is also important, as well as the actual innovation that's going on. So
And somehow, like talking about, kind of making it sexy, and the entire thing is like I don't know how, maybe it's me, maybe people see the same, but you can actually see, like, even like the T-shirt that I'm wearing. Like, I bought this like I didn't order like this from NASA, which of course you can, but you can buy these like in shops, like like, I'm not gonna call the names out, but
exactly,
I mean, it's
yeah,
everywhere. You go and see, like, it's everywhere. It looks like they're like putting this message out that people should go. Of course, part of it is kind of a trendy fashion thing, but at the same time, like, it gives a message to it, so, and
exactly,
that's what I
yeah.
like about it. So there is a lot of people looking towards that part, as you said, space photography, space technology. So maybe we can still talk about aerospace engineering. Like, what are the requirements for people who are watching, and maybe they're kind of your age? Like, what are the requirements for somebody to need to get into that college level?
Well, the thing is that as far as I'm aware, there like a lot of like high schools actually don't really offer engineering on a substantial level. Our school does, but I never really got into it when I was like a lower classman. I'm taking engineering now as a senior finally, just because like now I just discovered that we have like this big program. We actually have aerospace engineering at the school, but I'm not going to be able to take it, unfortunately. But I think the big thing is that because so little high schools actually offer it, um, going into college, they're going to teach you they're going to teach you as much as they can from the ground up and stuff. So, and I think one important thing is, if you really want to do it, then you do have to do some learning on your own. You do have to get interested and kind of really get involved and try and teach yourself as much as you can before college. So, you know,
Hmm.
because it's not super available in the actual education system before that point. So that's what I did.
Got it, got it. So, question that follows, I mean, as I mentioned, you kind of have to immerse yourself into a learning process, and kind of before it starts. So, like, personally, how do you follow all these technology trends? How do you keep yourself current and up to date with what's going on in the technology sector?
Well, I don't know. I follow some, like, some various newsletters and stuff like that. Like,
Okay.
um,
Do, do,
you
do you
know,
want to share a few just for people so they can
um,
follow as well?
space.com. I often get a lot of emails from space.com, and um, I think that's about the main one. And
Got, got it.
yeah,
Got it. So yeah, so that's going to be, of course, down below for you guys and girls to follow.
as far as I
Uh,
know, you guys have your own newsletter too, with like I looked through your website. Am I wrong about that, or
oh yeah, we do have it. We don't have a like a newsletter, but we have a blogs coming out, which of
okay,
course we're gonna pump even more content in the future, because it's all doing the research, kind of, because we cannot copy and paste the same content from NASA. Like, it has to be,
right,
of course all the research, the main things, the statistics is going to be there, because we're not going to come up, because we don't have an equipment, because it's all NASA based data. But still, we have to, so we're going to do that, as because we want to just provide, and that's what we're doing the show, because we just want to provide as much value as possible, having people just like yourself on, who kind of share the same interest, same passion, and just kind of want to make it this, collaborative effort for people, so they will get inspired. They will be like, hey, if Galen is doing it, maybe I should go and follow, that as well. So talking about the future projects, beside, you becoming a space engineer and doing all those, great things for SpaceX in the future, what are other, maybe not that distant future projects that you're looking forward to also?
So like personal future projects, I'm trying to start an astronomy club at my school, which I've been trying to do for like a year now, but then the whole pandemic thing hit and we, had to cancel school and what are you going to do? But I'm going to be starting that as like soon as I possibly can.
Virtually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were going to do it. I had plans for virtual, but like I'm not sure the school isn't like really giving us any information for how they want to do that. So
Do you need to
I'm kind
get,
of stuck.
so do you
Yeah,
need
we
to
got
get a
to.
school's permission? Like, because the show that
Yeah.
I'm doing, I didn't ask nobody.
Yeah, I know that is true. I in terms of like an actual school thing, because I want this like kind of listed on the school's website
Got
like
it.
in the list
Yeah.
of clubs and stuff like that, and gotta have a club a club
Yeah.
sponsor and stuff like that.
Galen wants to be named as a Galen Gilmore, the president of the. It's all for the name, right? It's all for the name. I know.
Yeah.
That's all right. we all been there. So yeah, but that's awesome. So definitely, I do encourage you. Like, if you need any help from from my side, please do. Because just pushing this passion forward and
Yeah.
influencing one person at a time is super important. So keep pushing on that. So again, before I wrap up, kind of want to thank you again for being on the show. A lot of great insights. Still, like, people are gonna, like, you still learning at the same time, which you're probably still building up your passion and figuring things out. And of course, there's a lot of different distractions that come your way, I'm sure, because when I was 17,
Yeah.
I was distracted, like all over the place, family, friends. There's a lot of different things. So in fact, that you're still putting time and like being today on the show and, still explaining what the process you're going through and doing all this, learning still yourself and putting time to do that. It's awesome. So I appreciate you for being on the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. I mean, yeah, when I first got your message, I was like,
Is this
wait,
real?
is this a scam?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you get those messages like, hey, I love your photos. Check out my website. It's like
Yeah,
it's like, wait a minute.
I know.
But
It's not what we do. So anybody who's watching, if you're gonna get random message from us, it's a real thing.
yeah,
We
it's
do
real.
this.
If you get a message from space, is it exploration or is it XPLR or
XPLR, yeah.
yes? If you get a message from them, you can just follow them up.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome. So again, guys, make sure that you follow up with Galen on Instagram, Galen_astrophotography, and on his personal, Galen. That's Galen Gilmore. Of course, all these links are going
I
to be
also
down
have a
below.
YouTube channel, which I'm not sure.
Yeah, I wanted
I
to
have a
mention
YouTube
that.
channel, Galen Gilmore, which
Yeah.
hopefully link in the description.
Yeah, definitely. That link is going to be down below. So make sure to go and subscribe. And I'm sure, and I do encourage you also at the same time to put out all this content, show people the process that you're learning, and I'm sure you're going to build a great following, great audience. So make sure to connect with Galen. And guys, I appreciate you watching, and I'm going to see you in the next episode. Keep exploring.